I busted the glass on my brand new LG V30. Ain't that some shit? Hey YouTubers! Jacques from Jacques Photography. And I am on my way right now to return a lens. And the lens I am returning is the Sigma 50-100 f1.8 Art. Now, I bought that lens because I had recently gotten rid of all my Canon full frame camera equipment, and I needed something with an open aperture to shoot shows and events. Anyone who shoots events knows that you have to be pretty wide open at some of these events because you can't use a flash and for various other reasons. I went out and bought the 50-100 DC because, see, the thing is that what's great about that lens is that it's made for APS-C cameras. Now, I like that fact because you're taking advantage of the full resolution of the lens, and so I went out and bought it. And at f1.8, you get excited. You say to yourself, wow, this is really cool. It's f1.8. So I went out and got that lens, and I used it on a couple of tests, and then after that I used it on a real event. Now, performance-wise and focusing-wise, I don't know why a lot of people trash that lens for the speed of the focus. I have heard that some people think it doesn't focus quick enough. It's pretty darn quick. Now, bear in mind, I'm using it on an 80D dual pixel focus system on the Canon system, which is rocket fast and actually reads your mind. So for that and the performance of me using it in an event, it really is really great. It's a great lens. I think the focus is spot on, does the trick, and really gets in focus. Now, bringing the images into my computer, I was quite surprised and initially thought I wasn't getting my focus right. Later on, I discovered by looking at the shots and doing a lot of tests on this little cactus in my office, I decided, hey, listen, I'm going to do some tests on this lens because I paid quite a bit of money for it and I don't want to keep it if it's really soft. Well, after a lot of tests done and reanalyzing my images, all the focuses were spot on. It's just that the actual lens itself is hyper soft. It's surprisingly soft. Not only that, to test to make sure that I wasn't getting screwed up, I went through various apertures. I started at 1.8, where obviously when it's open up, it's going to be a relatively soft image. So, you know, that's sort of excusable when you talk about that price range and that wide of an opening on a camera lens, you know? So, but then I started closing down. I went to 2.2, 2.8, still soft, 4, 5, it was still soft. It's a soft lens, and it's too soft for what I do. And I believe when you do show photography, events for dance, for circus performers and stuff like that, you got to be as tack sharp as possible. I am comparing this with the Canon 70-200 2.8, which is quite honestly a legend within its own right. It is absolutely stunning, that lens. And it is the standard by which most camera lenses in that zoom range should be compared to. Now, I know nothing about Nikon and stuff like that, but it is just a great, fantastic lens. So right now I'm bringing it back. I'm giving it back in, guys. I really am disappointed by how soft it is. A couple of strong points about that lens, however, is for show and event photography. I'm talking like in a little theater or stuff like that. 50-100 is a beautiful zoom focal range. It is fantastic. I think Sigma nailed it for that. If you're someone who just needs light and don't necessarily prioritize total sharpness, it's a good lens. It's a pretty darn good lens, and for the price, you are in Canada, you're in the $1,200, $1,300 range. So in the States, maybe $1,000, $900, $950 range for that lens. So it's, for the price, it's really it's a good lens for what it does. But for what I do, I cannot tolerate softness, that much softness. I mean, I would really like to know where this thing is actually sharp, and probably close down at f8 you start to get some sharpness, but before that it's pretty darn blurry, man. I was really surprised. Tell me what you guys think. Have you owned the 50-100? Did you return it? Did you keep it? What do you use it for? I want to hear what you have to say. Follow, like, and subscribe, and don't forget, everybody, keep on making something from nothing.